actually went to the solo lane, so we'll see some swaps happening from Ace, but we actually see Spider banned from Ace.
Yep, Spider banned and Praxis, so gonna see those two maps coming through. Wow, it's hard to write in my draft notebook with the hand mic, but I'm gonna make it happen, GLuck. All right, Braxis and Tomb, we're starting things off on Infernal Shrines as we head into this one.
That's going to be the first one. GLuck choosing the map, and they do... Let's see. They don't have a good ring. Well, they have 1-0. They have 1-0 so far in this map. I'm talking about GLuck here. Let's see what kind of draft they keep on doing. Maybe just bring up that ETC. Oh man, we're gonna see that ban.
So
all day long today.
Insta ban on ETC, which is actually perfect. So this is a very intelligent choice, and you know we talked about it all the time. This gives them the opportunity because I don't think they'll ever do this when they don't have first ban, but because they have first ban here, they can take this, grab whatever hero they want. The problem with picking Greymane here, though, is now you've left open Uther Genji, and I think that's the rotation that we're going to see them go towards here. Because, I mean, it's a pretty logical step, right? Like, big surprise, surprise, surprise. Look at those pick rates. Oh, shocking that Greymane the highest pick rate. Yeah, it's taken away, but it gives Uther the opportunity to be locked in right away.
Yep, that's what you kind of gave up as you're picking Greymane, as you love to play Greymane as Ace. Greymane plus Tyrael has been their hero since summer last year when they started playing Open Division last year. So they really want those picks, and it is the reworked Tyrael, which I think can be a solo tank a lot better of a way now.
Yeah. So
and it's not going to be the Mega skin though. Disappointment.
No, a bit of a disappointment. It's gonna be the Archangel one. That's all right. It's okay. So.
But who are they gonna pair up with? Maybe a support too, or maybe just choose their solo lane already, along with the Tyrael.
It is going to be the solo laner. It's going to be Leoric. So this is going to be a setup that can work well against Dragonblade. Obviously, Entomb can somewhat, not massively, but somewhat limit Genji's mobility. But the Sanctification is going to be what they need to kind of stop the Dragonblades from getting full value. And I like the idea, and the new Tyrael is really strong. His shields, if he takes his level 1 shield talent, which every player in Korea has, 100% pick rate in Korea right now, will make it tougher for Dragonblade to get kills. But you've given away the best tool to deal with Genji, and you've given him protection as well. The Tychus ban here is safe, but I think GLuck is now very happy to just simply draft another DPS, a strong solo laner that could deal with Leoric, maybe even something like a Dahaka that can split soak, split push when Leoric needs to come down.
Or if they really want to go down the path where they did last time, they can just have a similar draft with Jaina and then bring that up with a solid tank line along with Blaze and one more solo lane, whichever they choose to do so. Leoric is taken away, so they will have to bring up something else this time. We'll see. Maybe just keep that Anubarak Blaze. I think that can still be the pair for GLuck now.
Yeah. Blaze still available. Anubarak still up. It's going to be Blaze. It's going to be Anubarak. So both those things I just called out coming up here. Blaze can interrupt Tyrael's Sanctification if he uses his charge correctly and predicts where Tyrael is going to land. So if you see the Aldruins come in, you can actually interrupt that Sanctification during its somewhat long cast time. It feels like it's instant, but it's you know, during that moment, you can actually prevent that from going down. So that's one thing you can do. Obviously, Blaze can help zone as well in a longer team fight with the bunker, and can help control these shrines. Of course, this is all just post 10.
Post 10, and also, what kind of support do you need here? Is Rehgar's taken away? Do you really want to bring that Stukov? Silence will be working big time against the CC, but you need to have that in the right hand, at the right moment all the time, or else Stukov himself will be in trouble, and also the Cocoon will be working against him.
Yeah, it's tough to answer, man. I don't know the answer to this. Like Stukov, the cool thing about Stukov is in these fights where you're going to be super clumped up with the Leoric, the Malthael in this case, which is only going to have to operate around Tyrael's Sanctification to really have that protection in team fights. You're going to be bunched up, which means it's going to be easy to transfer that slow healing to everybody, get that bio kill switch burst, and then you'll be able to win a fight longer if the Sanctification is used correctly. That's the idea. That's the concept here. With all the CCs between Uther, Blaze, and Nubarak, whatever they choose as their second DPS here, probably not going to have much CC involved. You know, I think the Stukov pick might be the best pick in this case, but still not a great pick. And, well, there is some CC in the secondary DPS here on the Junkrat. So, I mean, it's tough now because Malthael is going to have to be positioned perfectly. The Sank has to be good. Stukov is going to struggle if he gets caught. He has very few escapes. And Stukov's silence isn't that powerful against the composition of GLuck here because they're all highly mobile, with the exception of Uther, I guess you could say.
And I already see a problem here for Ace. They had this before. They had the same problem before. Not yesterday in particular, but last weekend when they brought out lots of melee, lots of solo laners. They have Leoric now, also Malthael for themselves, and Tyrael. That kind of does not fit all well together along with Stukov. Is Greymane going to have... That means Greymane just has to do all that damage. I don't think Malthael can have that much of an impact against all the heroes on the other side, like Uther, Junkrat, who can provide the escape, as we saw from the interview last night from Overlord.
Yeah, I mean, Junkrat is such a versatile DPS right now, and it's going to be Overlord on this hero again, by the way, which we saw to great success yesterday. So for Ace now, I think the question is going to be, how do we lock down the Genji? They don't have a good way at the moment, but if they could find a way to kill him, it would be pretty nice for him. Silence is one way, but when you're looking at this hero that's flying all over the place, trying to land a silence on him to prevent his dash or to prevent his you know, ability to basically you know, do that extra damage, it's going to be like if you can stun him before you can dash, before you can jump, then it's going to be pretty good. But if you can't actually do that, then what's the point of having the silence, right? Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. I just said nothing that made any sense for like the last 45 seconds. No. So what I'm trying to say is if you can't slam the stun, or sorry, the silence onto Genji before he uses his abilities, it won't matter.
It's going to be tough. There are lots of melees. You need that perfect silence for the melees to actually get close to the hero to do any damage. Greymane, even Stukov himself. Of course, Stukov does a lot of melee damage, but not as quickly. But here comes the CC chain. Game surviving some damage, and Milky Way will get stuck. If this happens, then it's good for Ace, but is this going to be happening all the time? No. Unless the Nubarak really overextends like this, it's going to be tough later on. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's what we're trying to say.
Sure.
Here.
And the thing is, like, in this moment, what we just witnessed, we saw basically the burn damage that can come through from Malthael, and in the early game like this, if you catch a hero, that damage is going to bleed through very quickly. Kind of similar to a Tychus in a way, to what you could do to the tanks in these little roams that we're seeing. But this is just going to grant Ace control over the Impaler camp to the bottom, taking the control of the red side camp as well. Milky Way is going to come invade this, not ETC this time, and you know what? I'm starting to feel like this is Milky Way feeling like he's playing ETC, but he's not. Obviously, the Nubarak has stuns. Doesn't have displacement like ETC. Doesn't have that passive armor that ETC has, and he almost died because he thought he was capable of blocking there.
Maybe it seems like he's playing a similar play style with a different hero. Maybe it's gonna fit. This kind of silence does bother the opponent a lot, especially when the Punisher comes to the gate or tosses over the gate and goes for the stun. That kind of silence will will slow them a lot, but it has to be at the right moment. After 10, GLuck really has to chase and keep on continuing, get that EXP from all lane where Blaze is also pushing. They got good wave clear, also some escapes for their own. Genji has an own escape. Junkrat also do. The only one who doesn't have an escape really is, I guess, Uther who should be in the back all the time. So all they have to do is to soak for 10 and look for that big team fight after 10.
Yeah, I mean, just like we were saying, this is a really mobile composition that GLuck is running. As long as they don't run in head first as they're kind of doing now, I think they're going to have a great time. So camp timings are almost identical for the top lane push with these shamans, these shaman camps. I also want to call them infernal camps. Shaman camps on the infernal shrines here, tiger dudes, and they're pushing through. to take control of this shrine. And Nubarak rotating up, leaving Malthael in the bot lane right now. And you can see the zoning here from Sauron is quite good on his signature hero, Blaze. Feels like it's becoming his signature hero very quickly. Milky Way gets punished for his aggressive positioning, is going to get burned through, but he's got that burst heal coming from Blue Beetle.
When they go in together to the body block along with silence,
That was a great silence there.
will be working so well. But unless that happens, the range and the pokes coming out from Junkrat, it's gonna hurt a lot. Let's see how Ace is handling this. They're keeping together to get all the heals from coming out from Stukov. There's a dive from Milky Way that does miss. There's a silence to get them away from the zone. Nice silence, so the tank could not initiate anymore.
Now, this is KCB's second game on the Stukov. We were impressed in the first game of the series against MVP Black, and now we're seeing similar silence placements, great early game control with this hero. And in that one zone to the left of the shrine, right between the line of sight blockers, it's a very narrow choke point, and that silence placement really meant that GLuck couldn't fight the way they wanted to. They ended up getting a 5-man silence, even if it was just for 1 second, which it was. That kind of impact in the team fight is so good. It gave them enough control there. Second silence there that you mentioned got them a kill. And Ace is now up 3 kills to 0. I'm going to go ahead and split off here to Soak. Let's have Leoric top. Malthael was moving down. So trying to get experience in 3 lanes. They're just pushing for 10. And GLuck, they should start to get a little bit worried. They've already lost their fort. Keep walls going down here. Ace is trying to snowball this.
Yep, when they get that Divine Dragon Blade, that's going to be the timing, but still they're away, 2 levels away in fact. Ace has pushed all the way into the keep wall in the mid lane. So that's going to provide a lot more EXP for getting all the structure. They're being aggressive. Think they are closer to 10. And Milky Way has not been hitting his skill shots at all today. So far on the Nubarak, seems like ETC Ben was the right choice for Ace to start off the draft here.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically the key. We talked about it yesterday. Well, we thought that Milky Way on the ETC, I mean, he helped steal a boss 3v5, as we saw yesterday. He controlled early games. He was able to flank and do some really cool mosh pit tactics. So all these things together, the power of the ETC was what helped win them that series, especially that 5th game on Sky Temple. And now, you know, without it, he looks a little bit out of place on the Anubarak. Has been a little bit too aggressive, and the silences that we're seeing from KCB in the second career game of this hero have been phenomenal. Seeing another one here. We talked about how hard it is to get the silence on the Genji. They did it there. And trying to get this fort, they've got 10. GLuck can engage on this before that 10 hits.
Yeah, with the slow was okay. We saw this kind of game against Miracle, which finished in 9 minutes or something. When they hit 10, when they got that Dragon Blade, the game was already over. I think GLuck, instead of being... When they have ETC, they can be aggressive. They can go rotate, try to look for ganks like that from the beginning of the game. But not when you have a Nubarak. It's kind of the same, but very different in a way. Because you have Genji and Junkrat who cannot really provide that damage like a when they have Greymane, it's possible, but not like this. Not in this case.
No, not in this case. I mean, Junkrat's doing what he can to poke down here to kind of chunk down some damage, but like even the concussive shell there, or the concussive mine, only hits Tyrael, and he can Aldruin's over the wall.
Didn't even need a sanctification.
Yeah, he's got it, you know, on lock for the next team fight. It's going to be totally fine. 10's finally ready for GLuck. They can do tons of burst damage between the Riptire and the Divine Shielded Dragon Blade. So this needs to be their time to fight on this shrine. Shrine's going to be top shrine, so they still have that healthy fort. So even if they lose this, they're not out of the game yet. If it were a bot shrine, they would very likely be, because they're going to lose their keep and they're going to be in big trouble after that. But this is their timing to take a fight.
Seron's dangerous positioning alone, going to go around. He does have that bunker available, but oftentimes he does that. He gets punished, but this time he didn't. Has to be careful going in, even as a Blaze.
They want to invade this. You know, they're so good at invades when they have the ETC. Saren's super low. Silence comes through. Here's the Dragon Blade. Divine Shield is on him. Tons of burst damage with the Riptire. Look at this. Boom, explosion there. Interrupted the Sanctification. Sanctification could have saved them. It's what they need to win these fights. When the burst damage comes out, it wasn't there. And so Ace is going to get crushed and wiped here. As long as they can avoid Gaming's explosion, they should be fine.
And maybe Seron just gets that heal from Uther and does survive. That was an incredible 5v5 team fight, and GLuck taking that away. Silence was it was handled nicely. I don't know why it was canceled. Maybe he moved away and he canceled himself. Genji did go in. It gave him the pressure, but Stukov kind of... I think Stukov actually canceled that in a way, unless the mine went in.
Yeah, I think it might have been a mine. I'm not 100% sure. I just looked at that fight and I was thinking, where's the Sank? Where's the Sank? Where's the Sank? And then I noticed that it was on, you know, like a 6-second cooldown. So it must have been interrupted by something. But the Sank would have mitigated all that damage in that area. It would have stopped the Riptire, would have stopped the Dragon Blade, but it just was not there. You need to make sure in the next fight that it is. Of course, it is off cooldown now. It was a very short reset there. And Ace does control this now. They are fighting an uphill battle at 3-30 right now, but they have that Sank. They're zoning very well right now. 20 seconds until Tormented Souls will be available.
Out of the silence.
Rip coming through. Big damage.
Yes, that damage. Sanctification will be the timing. Bunker has to be dropped to save himself, but can he actually get away?
Divine Shield be used on to Blaze here, but that means Relic has no protection. He's doing no damage here.
He had no Dragon Blade either. That was on cooldown for a long time. Now it's back, but the fight is already over. Went to Ace. They were having the upper hand. They had the talent down. I don't think they should have been fighting here at least.
Overlord's just trying to steal the last parts of this shrine, but they're not going to get it. Ace is going to take this shrine and take this fort because the fight was haphazard. Ace initiated very well. They used the silence well. And I'm not entirely sure why Sauron went so deep excuse me, into that fight, because there was no way out except the Divine Shield, which meant that Genji, who didn't even have his Dragon Blade yet, wasn't going to have one. And this is an Arcane Punisher GLuck. This is going to do some serious damage.
Yep, it's gonna take this one down and maybe go for more, you know. And the Divine Shield was available. Sauron taking too much damage. Maybe should have put down the bunker much earlier, maybe 2-3 seconds earlier, so he could actually save himself. Well, they kind of knew they were in trouble. The fact they checked their heroic, that, oh, I don't have a Dragon Blade, what do we do now? And then we contest here. It seemed like they were trying to do something when they were just looking for a miracle, and it was not going to work.
Speaking of miracles, this is going to force a Sank here. Another good concussive mine. Punisher's still pushing.
No silence. They need to make something happen here, but no Divine Shield for 2 seconds.
Okay, the Divine Shield Dragon Blade, though, is going to be ready in just a second. Here it comes. Relic running through. He's got that Divine Shield, but Gamey gets out. Nice Holy Ground placement here. Witcher doing a lot of damage right now. I don't think this is the fight that GLuck wanted to take. Everyone is so low. Great Tyrael shields coming out here now. That's a double kill. And this actually could be a win here for Ace. End up losing Tyrael. Is going to take out Blue Beetle with him, though. So that's a triple. This is going to be keep at worst case scenario for Ace. Looks like they're going to back away now. No reason to push this further. We're only 11 minutes into the game, but had they not actually lost Tyrael, it could have been maybe an opportunity to end the game. But the concussive mine was a great start up there, a great setup. But the Dragon Blade just didn't do enough. It didn't have a high enough impact there. And this goes back to Tyrael's new level 1 talent that gives his allies the same amount of shielding that he has. Makes it so difficult to finish those targets off with the burst from the Riptire, with the burst from that Dragon Blade.
And not just that, when he was trying to chase down the targets, that Holy Ground at 13 now. Well, they might have had 16 by the start of the team fight, but still. Right before they had the Holy Ground, and it made it really hard for Genji to chase them down. Did no damage, and Riptire actually did. It seemed like it does a lot of damage, but at that point it didn't do too much damage. It did hit a lot of the targets, but didn't really get that HP low to like below 30%, so the Genji could start getting that kill with the E resets. But that did not happen at all, and Divine Shield was not ready. So it seemed like the opportunity came, but the entire team was just not ready at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Coordination still in tense moments like this, not 100% there. But Ace, they're doing everything correct given the lead they have. Poking, sieging. The only great poke they have is Greymane, but notice how Hero is just staying in the back, poking safely, making sure the front line's up there. Gamey looking for a potential Holy Ground here. You know, we talked about the matchup between Milky Way and Gamey going to be a huge factor in this series. So far, Gamey has the winning side of it. This is not an engagement that GLuck should be taking. Milky Way needs to get out of here. Double silence. Trying to find a way to punish this aggressive push from Ace, but they should probably just leave with most of the members. Mid-push here is starting to hurt the keep. They should be patient. Trying to fight against this comp right now that has Sank as a fallback, I think is foolish. And they realize that everyone backs away. Ace will back away to take further camps. Next shrine's going to be bought, so they're not going directly to core with this if they win it. GLuck still has a chance in this game, but fighting with this comp has not worked for them so far.
Yep, not at all. The Divine Shield was often not on Genji this time. And when that Dragon Blade is back, now they have everything, but at this point, 3 levels apart, Dragon Blade will be doing a lot less damage to all the opponents.
And it's already a problem.
Be a tough one.
It's already a problem when they just can't finish off their opponents when their opponents are going to be very likely 2 levels up, not 3, because by the time the fight starts, it will have 16. 2 levels up and scaling in HP, plus the shields coming out from Tyrael. I think the Cocoon target actually should be Gamey. It should not be KCB in this case. Prevent the Sync from being used. You can win the fight with the burst damage. Because KCB is doing that healing, but the shielding is what allows the healing to happen in the first place. You shield, then KCB comes out of the Cocoon, drops that healing, and the silences come with it. You can see the heals spreading like wildfire here with the Stukov play.
The only way I see GLuck winning this team fight right now is if they get a crazy mind toss with that Cocoon onto Gamey.
Okay, Cocoon is onto Gamey. This is going to be the opportunity. Dragon Blade doing a lot of damage. Witcher, though, going to pop Tormented Souls. Divine Shield onto Milky Way here. He's doing nothing. Relic's on his way out of the fight. And now, I mean, how do you win this? You can't. They're on retreat. Genji's dead. And Ace going to clean this one up. Very likely will take this series, or not the series, the game as well with this. They're going to take the Punisher. Long death timers here, 40 plus we're talking about. Sauron is about to be one of them. Overlord trying to use Concussive Mind here to save him. It's not going to be enough. Not this time.
That Greymane. Nerfs are coming, guys. So do not worry about that. Was a crazy one. And now that we think of it, Dragon Blade, was it really worth taking a first pick along with Uther? Stukov, that Biokill Switch was basically the counter to that Dragon Blade. The shield from Tyrael, as you mentioned, 4 times already. There's so many counters against that Genji, unless Junkrat does that massive damage. But can Junkrat alone do that damage? That was not enough, and that's exactly why they're losing game 1.
Yep, Sank here just to secure the extra damage onto the core. The Punisher gets dragged into the keep, but it won't matter. Game number 1 is going to go to Ace. A lot of people were saying, you know, GLuck is on another level. There's no way Ace can